listening to Real Ag Radio. It's time for this week's edition of Rocky Talk, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Equipment. You can connect with them online at rockymtn.com, or if you're in Western Canada, of course, you can visit your local Rocky dealer. Automation isn't anything new in agriculture when we look back over the decades, but we are seeing new advancements with sensors and other technology that enables things like Case's driverless tractor. We watched the curtain drop on down in Iowa 2 years ago this summer. At Agritechnica in Germany last year, we certainly saw lots of R&D work, money being invested in robotics and automation enabled by sensors. Even inside full-size machines and tractors, combines, making them smarter, more intelligent machines. Our guest this week for Rocky Talk, as I think Sean mentioned earlier, is Jim Wood. Jim is the Chief Sales and Operating Officer with Rocky Mountain Equipment. We chatted about how the company sees the move toward more automation playing out in Canadian agriculture.
To be honest, when you take a look at it, you may see equipment getting smaller rather than bigger, which is, with Bourgault making a 100-foot drill, you kind of go, whoa, why are you talking smaller? And you think about it, if there's automated machines out in the field and they're talking to each other and they can be efficient and they know that, that cuts down on manpower, you can have smaller pieces of equipment. They're probably more efficient, easier to transport down the road, safer. And, automate, the Case IH is built an automated tractor, which I believe everyone's seen, and they've just started to test it at a farm, I believe, in Michigan. And I can, just from my point of view, this is from 50,000 feet, it'll probably be automated when you get to the field for now until everyone figures out how to safely have a self-driving tractor pulling a huge piece of equipment down the road. I think for now they can easily do it once you get to a field.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, it might even sneak up on us because you look at our new machines now, they are already largely capable of doing most of the tasks.
Oh, for sure. And you look at, if you go down to Phoenix and you see all those Google or Uber self-driving cars or whatever they are, it's there, and the technology's there. I'm a little bit concerned about when you're, I think it's easy to, and not easy, but it makes sense to have a an automated tractor, but there's so many functions behind the tractor on whatever implement, whether it's when you're baling hay or when you even when you're combining and there's that lump there, right? So it's I don't know, I'm anxious to see how they take that human element out of it, that reactive.
Mm-hmm. There's still an eyeball observation kind of factor when it comes to
for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't want to date myself, but when they introduced auto steer for tractors, and I'm like, oh man, who's going to use that, right? And it's not necessarily that people were lazy. It just created so many efficiencies. Whether it's in your sprayer or in your tractor on your drill, you're not overlapping. When they came out with sectional control on a drill, that when you turned on the headland, it would shut it off. Like, how much efficiencies did that add? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So how do you see that impacting Rocky Mountain's business and your interaction with customers if we have reached a peak size and are going to trend towards smaller and more automated equipment?
We're fairly adaptive, and it's really up to our partnerships with CNH that, but we're pretty much on board with what they're introducing and then we get trained on it. And it's just more of, what do the customers want? And they always look at it too and say, okay, that's great, you make this, but what's my return on it? Does it make sense to buy it? Like precision farming has been one where, there's been a lot of hype and, and it does, yes, it makes you efficient, but what's your return? Is it worth investing in certain things to, are you actually going to get more production out of it? Is it going to save your input costs? And that's where we'll stay out of it and let the customers make that decision.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking service and access to help when you need it and those sorts of things, those will always be important.
For sure. And then there's a lot of automation there too, but you'll never replace that human contact, that relationship, that, being able to call for parts after hours or have that service technician come out. And that's what makes this business unique.
Jim Wood, Chief Sales and Operating Officer with Rocky Mountain Equipment, sharing his thoughts on where we're headed when it comes to automation and trends in machinery technology, specifically as it applies here in Canadian agriculture. Rocky Talk is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Equipment every week at this time right here on Real Ag Radio.